How's it going, and welcome to The Guitar Effect. My name is Rob. In this episode we're going to be taking a look at the Headrush Gigboard multi-effects unit and amp modeler. But before we do, as always, I'll ask you to please like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you can be kept up to date every time I put out a new video. So, to the people who watch me regularly, you may notice that I'm in slightly different surroundings. I'm on holiday in the southwest of Ireland in a place called Killarney in County Kerry. And this is actually a barn for our American friends and just a regular old shed for our Irish and UK friends. It's actually on the side of the really old house that I'm staying in. And it's very, very cool. That wall behind me is a really traditional old Irish cottage wall that's probably 300 or 400 years old. And this is just like a barn where they have some of their household appliances and stuff out on the side of the house, and it's a really cool location to be able to make a video. So that's why the surroundings are different. So the Headrush Gigboard. A while ago I made a video about the Joyo American sounding using it direct, right? I'll put that video up, I think it's here. And it's either there or there, I don't know. And the reason I did it was because my wedding band that I play in is going from using amps to using no amps and just going direct. And so I was looking at different direct solutions to be able to play without an amp using in-ears in a live situation. And that worked pretty well, actually. I was quite impressed with the quality I was able to get from it. But I've also managed to pick up the Headrush Gigboard as a completely all-in-one solution. So I'm going to basically play both of these in a rehearsal situation for a while and see which one I want to keep. This is my first time ever going completely digital with a modeling solution for any type of regular gig that I'm going to play. So, what is the Headrush Gigboard? Well, it is I'll stick some photos up on the screen so you can see. So it is a multi-effects unit that's really, really compact and slim-lined in terms of outboard controls. It has 4 switches. Each of those switches serve 2 functions. It has a master level knob, and then it has a rotary encoder knob, which also serves as a button. And then the really big thing about this unit that was a big selling point for me is that it has a pretty impressive touch screen. So that touch screen basically negates the need for you to use an editor of any kind with this unit. The way it's laid out and the quality of the touch screen, the quality of the display, the size of the display, the menu system is all absolutely just phenomenally well laid out and well thought out. So in that respect, I think it stands alone in terms of not needing to use an editor at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly run you through the interface and how everything works. And then I'm going to go into a sound demo to show you how I'm using it with the 3 presets that I'm going to be using and 4 presets I'm going to be using, and how they sound and how the functionality of switching between them works in a live scenario. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to switch over to pedal cam and just show you a couple of things about how it works. Okay, so as you can see, there are 4 foot switches across the floor. There's switches 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And what they do is they switch between presets, and then they're reflected by these 4 labels on the screen here. So you have clean, indie, rock, and lead. And then you can see it says previous bank and next bank on these 2 middle foot switches. So obviously hit them once, they turn on the selected preset. And then if you hold it down on next bank, it simply allows you to switch to the next bank of presets, right? So if I go back, I'm going to go previous bank. Okay, and then obviously there's this really beautiful touch screen. So I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. The signal comes in and goes through whatever pedals and amps you select, and then goes to the output. I'm not going to get into this now. Right now I'm running a serial signal chain, so it's going in through all the pedals, through the amp, then through some more pedals, and then to the cabinet, and then out. You can actually, if you hit this 4 indicator button, I suppose, you can switch the arrangement of those effects into some preset ways of splitting the effects up, which is really cool. Okay, but right now I'm running in serial. So just really quickly, for example, you can go through 3 pedals and split it off into a parallel looping, sum it back into another 1, go into the cabinet and then out in stereo. Or you can do the same, you can go straight in, go parallel, go to some more serial effects and go out to stereo, right? So they're the different switching modes that allow, or different, what would you call it, different routing possibilities available to you that allow you to do stuff like wet, dry, wet, using, or not wet, dry, wet, wet, dry, using stereo to put certain effects on different sides and stuff like that, using different amplifiers. It's really, really powerful. You can do anything like that that you may want it to do. So the last thing I'm going to do now before I go into send them is just build a new preset. So if I go in here and hit new rig, it gives me an empty rig, right? So it's basically what I just explained, right? So first thing I'm going to do is add an amp. So I'm going to go into an amp and say I want to use a tweed bassman. And it assigns a cab. I'm going to move that cab to the end of my signal chain, double tap it. It's giving me a silver cone, so I don't want that. I want 410 tweed bassman. Okay, and I'm going to change the mic, say, to a 57, dynamic 57. Okay, go back. So here's my amp chosen. I'm going to add a compressor, dynamic CQ, grey comp. I'm going to use a default preset. Say I want to reduce the level, no problem. And then I always add a boost, so distortion, white boost, crunch. Adds a distortion pedal, and then I add a mid-gain distortion, so let's say a anxiety OD, but I'm going to go default, I bring the level and the drive way back, maybe level up and get a kind of mid-gain boost kind of thing, and then I'm going to add a rat, so distortion, black up. And I'm going to go fat drive. So now I have a compressor and three different overdrives to pedal from. I'm going to choose a modulation. I'm going to go with a rotary. I'm going to go, this foam drum sounds really good. And in there, I'm going to make sure that the speed is on. It's hard to explain this without having a guitar in my hands, but there's a rotary. I'm going to add another modulation, tremolo. And it's going to be default try, whatever that means. I'm going to add a delay, tape echo, basic. I'm going to add a modulated delay. Where is it? BBD delay. Mod chorus, and I'm going to add a spring reverb. And there's your rig. It is literally that simple. And obviously, as you load those things, if you have a guitar plugged in, you can tweak them to your heart's content. But that's basically how it works. So there you have it. Really, really easy to program. As I said, no need for an editor, which I think is a pretty huge thing. And really compact, relatively lightweight. You can add an expression pedal if you want to get more control out of it. It can switch channels on your amplifier. It has an effects loop. It's just a brilliant all-around piece of kit. So let's take a listen to it now, I suppose. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just show you 4 sort of basic presets that I set up that I would use throughout the course of the wedding band's gig, right? And they are clean, dirty, heavy, and lead. Really, it's just clean, dirty, and heavy. And then each one of those presets is broken down into a combination of scenes and then individual stomps on and off. And then the way that the Gigboard uses its 4-foot switches is pretty good in terms of allowing me to do what I need to do. So you can see here on the pedal cam, I have 4 patches down in front of me, right? I have clean, indie, rock, and lead. So what I would do for some of the night is I would switch between them as necessary, but generally not. There might be 4 or 5 songs throughout the course of the night where I might basically go from clean to lead or indie to lead or heavy to lead. But the way I would mostly do it is, this is the wedding band set, as many wedding band set is, it's broken up into sections, and those sections are kind of themed around like a time, as in like 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever it may be, like basically pop, kind of punky rock, and alternative modern rock, right? And I would use different presets for each one of them, right? So here are the 4 presets to start with. It starts off with the clean sound. I'm playing my 60s reissue Telecaster. That was back pickup, here's the neck pickup. So that's the clean preset, right? So if I'm going to go into this clean preset now, so what you get then when you go into the preset is you get clean, boost, lead, all as sort of what are called scenes, but it's really a preset within a preset. But it's important to note that those presets, it's basically like a snapshot on the line 6 gear. What it is, it's different combinations of the pedals and amp, either switched on or off in individual switches, right? So for any clean songs we might do, I have a clean sound. It's going to tune. So to tune, you hold down the 4th switch and you get a pretty decent tuner. Okay, so you get the clean sound, which is this. Sorry. So it'll do choppy stuff well, it'll do soulful kind of picked stuff as opposed to finger stuff, and then it'll do nice kind of and then you can, it'll work nice with lead as well. It's a really nice lead sound, and what that is, by the way, that is a Fender deluxe reverb on the vibrato channel with the correct cab for that setup, and then it's just got a grey compressor on it. That's and a spring reverb. Okay, so then the other thing I can do is I can hit the boost switch, which all that does is it leaves the compressor on and adds in a boost pedal, which is great for playing lead over what was a clean passage. Gives me a nice kind of Telecaster-y twangy sound on the back pickup. And it gives me a kind of nice blues sound. Gives you a nice single coil blues sound either, right? And then if at any point during that I want to play a solo, so say I want to go from, say, hit the lead switch, so what the lead switch does is it turns off the compressor, turns on the white boost, and turns on the DC distort, which is like a full tone OCD style drive, and changes from a very low mix tape delay to a slightly more forward in the mix bucket brigade delay. So that's the clean patch, and it works for any songs where I'm predominantly starting from a clean standpoint, and it uses a Fender Deluxe Reverb, Blackface Deluxe Reverb style amplifier. So then, in order to get out of that, so say I played 4 or 5 songs in the set and I was in that preset, I would just simply hit this switch again, the first switch, go back to rig and go to indie. And this brings me to my more sort of, I suppose you'd say, and I'm just going to go back into stomp, make sure I went clean. This brings me into a more sort of punk rocky starting point for the more kind of aggressive, but not fully distorted stuff. So what happens now is we switch over to a bassman. Again, I'm just going to tune. Yeah, so we switch over to a bassman, right? And we also have a rat, a green screamer, and a white boost in this signal chain as well. But the same bucket brigade delay and tape delay, and I think it's actually a room reverb this time. Yeah, with it, and on this preset on the clean patch, it's just the compressor again, and and when I say clean, it's going to be a dirty clean. I'll show you what I mean. It's the compressor, the bassman, and the tape echo down really low on the reverb. And sounds like this. basic sound for sort of the kind of or so it's really cool, raspy, punchy mid-range. Sounds great with the bridge pickup on a Untitled Chapter. I can wind the pickup off and it gets a little bit less bright. So it works really, really great. And then one of the things I can do with that, I can add a tube screamer to it. So you get a really cool mid-focused sound through its Tweed amp, which is already MIDI, so it gets a very distinctive sound. So I think the basement amp works really, really well. And then again, with 32 sounds I need for this, I can then say on either one of those sounds, so go back to say the clean sound and I can add a boost. So which gives me a more distorted sound but without the mid-range push. And then also, if I turn that off, I can add a modded delay for some sort of atmospheric-y kind of intros we do. And that's the same Booker Brigade delay I've been using on both presets. It's just got the mix up a bit higher. It sounds really, really nice. Works really, really well. So then that's for the kind of punk rocky, sort of aggressively strummed stuff. And then we move on to the next sound. So again, I go back to the main menu. I hit rig and I go to rock. And what this is, if I go out of that and go back into the stomp mode, start with crunch. So now we switch over to a JCM 800. And this works really, really well. So it's got a basically based around a JCM 800. We've got a white boost, a tube screamer, another white boost. We've got the JCM 800, the same two delays, the Booker Brigade and the tape echo, and we've got the 11 reverb. And so you have the four sounds that you hear, just the crunch, which for basic, kind of old school rock. And then I can add a white boost and a OCD style pedal to do more kind of modern stuff. So okay, and then also in here I have a, sorry, that was the tube screaming sound. Here's a heavy sound. So you have a less pronounced, you see basically mild gain, mid gain, heavy gain for leads. And if in those times I want to put rotary onto a solo. And that's all I use. Basically those few sounds go bring me through the whole gig. If I go back to the main menu and I hit the rig switch, we go back to the main interface, and sometimes if I'm playing clean on the neck pickup, and I just want to hit the lead, I can get. So they're the 4 presets I use across the front: clean, indie, rock, and lead, and then I go into them as I need. And the way this board is set up, I think it achieves that really, really well. So there you have it, my first look at the Headrush Gigboard. I'm going to be making a lot of different videos where I explore the capabilities of like splitting your rig between left and right and assigning different effects to both sides. I'm going to set up some presets for my originals band, which I tried on the Helix LT and didn't like it at all. So I'm going to try and do the same thing. I'm going to just make a few different videos, maybe try a few like signature sounds of different bands like I did with HX Effects, but use amplifiers because this can do this, and see how it fares doing that. Yeah, and just kind of put it through its paces over 3 or 4 different videos. So if you're interested in this and you've liked this video, keep your eyes peeled for them. So as always, if you've gotten this far, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And I guess I'll see you in another video again soon. Cheers, take it easy.